Hello everyone, the Shadow Picture here and you're watching All Things Nintendo. Today we'll be talking about what the next Nintendo console should have. On May 6, 2024, Nintendo made a tweet saying that they're going to reveal the next Nintendo console within its official year, before March of 2025. I think we can all agree that we need a new Nintendo console since 2020. But we can't blame them since the Wii U was a flop and 2020 was, well, 2020. But this is the perfect time to have the next Nintendo console out. For this video, I'll be talking about what the next Nintendo console should have that the OG Nintendo Switch doesn't. Also, I think that the next Nintendo console is going to be like a Switch with its hybrid concept. With that all said, let's get on with the video. The first thing that the next Nintendo console should have is backwards compatibility, and it should be a staple for future consoles. It's a no-brainer for Nintendo to have backwards compatibility for the Nintendo Switch 2 with the Switch games, and it should make up for the Switch not having it when the Wii and Wii U for being backwards compatible with the GameCube and the Wii respectively. Also, since the Switch games are $60 on average, make it worth the purchase. If you purchase the game physically, you can insert the game card to play the game. And if you purchase the game digitally, you can sign into your Nintendo account and re-download the game. All the DLC should be downloaded once it's played on the new console. The second thing that the next Nintendo console should have is menu themes. The Switch's menu is lazy. Only 2 themes, no personality, it's ridiculous. Like the 3DS, we should at least have different colors to choose from instead of just black and white. There should be colors like red, blue, green, yellow as options to say the least. Instead of just colors, the theme should be based on Nintendo franchises like Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Kirby, Star Fox, Pokemon, etc. Also, like the Wii U, the menu have Mii's around the applications wearing the similar colors to the applications that they're running to. The next Nintendo console should do that. The third thing that the next Nintendo console should have is menu music. I mean, come on. The Wii, 3DS, and even the Wii U has menu music, albeit lazy, but not the Switch. I feel like the menu music gives the console more personality. And for attention to detail, depending on the theme that the user puts it on, the music is a rendition of a popular music from the theme it's based on. For example, if someone uses a Zelda theme, a rendition of Hyrule Field is played. Something like that. The fourth thing that the next Nintendo console should have is more Nintendo franchises. This is kind of the Wii U's fault since there's barely any first-party games, but there were no Metroid or Fire Emblem games. Sure, the Switch has at least one Metroid or Fire Emblem game, but there were no staples like Star Fox, F-Zero, or Earthbound. For the next Nintendo console, we should have staples like Mario, DK Yoshi Wario, Zelda, Metroid, Kirby, Star Fox, Pokemon, Splatoon, Animal Crossing, Pikmin, Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, ARMS, Wars, Super Smash Bros, etc. But we need to revive some dead Nintendo franchises like Star Fox, F-Zero, Earthbound, Excitebike, Kid Icarus, Game & Watch, Pilot Wings, Golden Sun, Chibi Robo, Rhythm Heaven, Punch Out, 1080, Wave Race, etc. But we need more NES exclusive series to become series like Ice Climbers, Duck Hunt, Balloon Fighter, Wild Gunman, Hogan's Alley, Gumshoe, Wrecking Crew, stuff like that. The fifth thing that the next Nintendo console should have is more power. From this point forward, each Nintendo console's internal storage should be at least half a terabyte, or 512 gigs. Since games are becoming bigger, that should be the standard size. Also, the next Nintendo console should be 20 times more powerful than the PS5, since the Wii Each Nintendo console since then has been severely underpowered. Because of that, Nintendo has been missing on a lot of awesome third-party games. Final Fantasy VII is the most notable game. The last thing to make the next Nintendo console powerful is that it shouldn't have problems emulating their previous consoles. New players can have the chance to play old games that they never tried out. Speaking of old, the sixth thing that the next Nintendo console should have is Virtual Console, or another retro live service. The Nintendo Switch Online is terrible because you're paying for a subscription of games that you don't even want to play. It's like Netflix in a way. Virtual Console is better because you pay for the game that you can keep forever after purchasing. If Nintendo brought back Virtual Console, which are not, they should have consoles like the NES, SNES, N64, Game Boy, /Color, /Advance, DS, and Wii for Nintendo consoles. It's been a long time since GameCube was playable in a modern Nintendo console on the Wii, so it's a no-brainer for this console to be one of the options for it. Especially since the Wii has no problem being emulated due to both of them using Dolphin. Also, the service needs 3DS and Wii U games, just because. The service also lets you remap controls and use online with friends. Speaking of, the seventh thing that the next Nintendo console should have is free/better online. The Nintendo Switch Online sucks because you're paying for an online subscription that can lag at times. This is bad because you're paying for a laggy service while you're paying for other bills at your crib, and the Nintendo Network was a better version because it's free and it rarely lags. Online should be free and it should not lag. The eighth thing that the next Nintendo console should have is better games. A handful of Switch games are mediocre because there's downloadable content and unfinished games. They should be 100% finished on day one. Also, at least 90% of the games should be original and not ports, remakes, stuff like that. Even if it's the Wii U's fault. The games shouldn't have extra content like minigames, objectives, challenges, multiplayer mode, or an adventure mode to add more to the replay value. The ninth thing that the next Nintendo console should have is two-screen gameplay. I know this form of gameplay is outdated, but the next Nintendo console should have it so DS, 3DS, and Wii U games can be played on modern consoles. For the next Nintendo console, two-screen gameplay should be optional because of future consoles, if it wants to be played on newer consoles, if that makes sense. The 10th and final thing that the next Nintendo console should have is better marketing. Okay, the marketing for the Switch is really good. It shows what the console could do and it targets the right audience. But in my honest opinion, I think Nintendo should go back to the marketing on the Nintendo 64 era. Those commercials were very zany and memorable to say the least. They were actually fun to watch because it wasn't some generic teens playing the game. It was actual unrealistic things that would never happen in real life. What makes it fun to watch. Mix both of the N64 and the Switch's marketing. Speaking of mixing, the next Nintendo console should have all the positive aspects of the Wii U and the Switch. Even though these suggestions are unrealistic, I feel that if Nintendo does these things, we are going to have the best Nintendo console of all time if that's the case. My next video will be the 10 things that the next Nintendo console shouldn't have. Stay tuned if you want to see that video. Got nothing else for this video. If you want free content, like and subscribe and I'll share more Nintendo content just like this. I'm the Shadow Picture and I'll see you guys very soon. Later.